preparing myself to sow some seeds. In the past, I've used these seedling trays and a hothouse, and I'll explain what these are in a bit more detail shortly after I've just finished breaking my tools. Well, there you go, folks. This wasn't designed to be a scoop, and my Brutus Maximus strength that I have broke it in half, so hands we do. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm putting in some of our planting mix and cocoa. This is a blend that I've created, planting mix and cocoa. It's good drainage, it's nice and light, it's friable. It actually holds its moisture and it doesn't go hard, and it's ideal for sowing seeds in, really is. Now, you can sow directly in the ground. I've sown many a times, in fact most times than not, I sow directly in the ground, especially the larger seeds, but not everybody likes to go that way, or you don't have the space in the ground, or you're just preparing for the next season. So I know spring's only around the corner, and before you realise it'll be at our doorstep, and if you haven't sown your own seeds, you'll be buying seedlings, which is okay as long as you get a reputable supplier, but sowing your own is always better. Now what I've got here is a 72 cell tray. That's what I'm using here. I'm just going to take it off to show you. You can see all the little bit of dirt that's come out of it. That's because of the hole in the bottom, so it does drain, whereas this is the base. Now, it's a base, an old base that I've taken out from a mini hothouse that we've used in the past, and I used to do it a lot, but I'm sowing in the ground now, and now I've got a lot of volunteers that have popped up, so I'm not so worried about having to use these hothouses. But if you've got a garden and it's pretty active and full, and you don't have space to sow your seeds, and as I said earlier, you want to prepare yourself and you need 4, 6, 8 weeks to get them to grow, this is a good way to start it. Mini hothouse, got the little vents on it. It will reduce the amount of cold that gets in. It's a single layer, so it's not going to be that effective unless you use a heat mat. I'm not going to demonstrate this only because we've done it 100 times before, folks, and this is just an update and recap on how you can sow your seeds in the cold season of the year, and if you are going to get early in the spring hits. So this is a heat mat that rolls out. It's exactly the same size as the base of this mini hothouse. So it's ideal for one. You can plug it straight into the power point, let it heat up, and if you're concerned about it overheating, well, it does have a thermostat that comes with it. Well, not with it. You can get that one separately to turn it on and off whenever you need to. Now, all these can be regulated with the thermostat because it's got a little thermometer on it. We'll switch it off for you as well. This will help you get the soil temperature that you need, like what we've got in here, up to at least 12, 15 degrees, 18 degrees, ideal for your spring lines. But for your winter lines, you can get away by sowing straight into the ground. And I did bring some here. I've got Chicory Italico Rosso, which is the red legs. It's got the red streaks with the green on it. It's a beautiful, very, very nutritional plant. Pak Choi. I brought out some grosselis thinking that maybe we can do some grosselis in here and get them to come up early. But, it's still really, really early, even though we've got some volunteers popping up in the garden today. It's only 8 degrees. So that's a maximum that we've hit so far. So it's quite chilly. And I dare say a lot of those seedlings that germinated earlier on, which was quite warm, will actually curl over and die. And cord salad macho. Now, they're the ones I'm going to sow in here. You can do individual if you like, or you can sow them directly into the bottom tray. What you've got to be careful about here is that there are no holes. Now, if you're cluey enough to be able to drill a few holes in here, you're welcome to do that and just sow directly in there, so you don't have to keep them separated in individual cells. The benefit of this is that the roots will not, side by side, tangle up with each other. So when you pop them out, you've got an individual root ball. They can go straight into the ground. That's a much healthier way to grow your seedlings. But again, there's no harm in doing it here. You're just got to be more delicate and careful when you handle them to transplant them. So if you've got a garden that's active, lots of plants in there, and you want to prepare yourself for more seeds and you've got nowhere to sow, you can sow directly in the pot as well. Keep in mind the pot is a lot deeper, so you don't need to have it filled to the top with a mixture, because it'll hold too much moisture. There aren't any roots from the little seedlings, and that moisture can cause the seed to rot prematurely before it germinates. So careful on the depth of soil that you use, and when you do so, by the way, that's a 72 cell, but there's also a 32 cell that you can use as well for larger plants. Things like your eggplants, even cucumbers and tomatoes, in fact, sow them individually into there, and they'll be a lot happier than getting tangled up. So when you do so, this is another part. These are questions that I'm trying to answer in bulk to everybody. Do I sow my seeds directly on top? Do I push them in? How far in do I go? All these sort of questions. Now, you can put a little dimple in there like that with your little finger, or any finger if you like. Nothing too deep. That's all it is, just like that, slightly lower than what the actual finished surface was. And all we do after that is just drop our seed straight on top. Now, have a look at this seed. It is tiny. These are tiny, tiny seeds. There are a lot smaller seeds, in fact, of other varieties. But again, these are small enough to be difficult to handle. And we got one seed. It's probably about 1 millimeter or 2 in diameter. Now, when you do sow it, see, I looked at that. It was too deep for me. I'm just dropping it there like that. Now, you can sprinkle a little bit of soil over the top, just like that. Even if it's peeking its nose out, that is absolutely fine. When you water, even if you don't press them in, when you do water and you drop it on top like that, it will sink down. And then later, if you want to, you can just grab a pinch of soil and sprinkle it on top, and that's done. That's as deep as you need to go with your seedlings. And then once you've sowed all your seeds, whether it's a 72 or 32 cell, and whether or not you're using a heat mat in a hothouse like this, up to you, because you might have a perfect microclimate that you really don't need this. At the end of the day, you can put a bit of plastic over the top of your pots, or you can put a bit of glass. If you've got a piece of glass that's lying around, obviously not a broken piece, use that on top and creates that mini hothouse, controls the cold air getting in there. And that's what it's really about, stopping that air. If you've got that all happening and it's working well for you, you've got to still liquid feed them. Now, I'm not talking about a high nitrogen-based fertilizer, but rather a liquid gold, and I've got some over here. So a little bit of liquid gold to start them off, our seaweed solution. Give it a nice soak over the top, and that's all it needs to help it get started and germinate. Keep them somewhere where they get plenty of sunlight, folks. That's vital that they get the sun. Once they germinate, let me recap on that. You don't need the sunlight directly on this until they germinate. You need the heat. So it's either a small heat mat for a single tray, or you can get the gorilla size one here. This one holds 3 trays from memory, maybe 4. How big is it? It's huge. That's all I know. So maybe 1, 2, 3. Well, either 3 or 4. Either way, it's still a lot more than 1. So they're your heat mats. That's how you regulate the heat in the soil, because that's where it all starts from. It's the life in the mix. Now, this mix is alive. Well, it'll be more alive once you hydrate it, and once you get that temperature right, those microbes will start to kick into gear, and the microbes on the seed itself has also got life on it. So they need to connect with the soil to come to life with good organic liquid fertilizers, not the crappy ones, good stuff. And make your own. You can make your own too. You've seen those videos, plenty of videos online. I've done plenty of them before. Liquid feed it once, give it a lid over the top, and enjoy the new growth, because they're going to be your little babies for tomorrow to enjoy. And then you can eat them. That's the best part about it. All this is available on our website, folks. Our new website is up and running. We've still got a few more apps and functionalities to put onto it and iron out, so you can enjoy a lot more features on it as the weeks go by. I shouldn't say weeks, I should say days. We're working actively on it. And it's a very easy process for you to be able to shop online and enjoy. And more importantly, the click and collect outlets are available for you to select on our website. There's about 5 at the moment, but it's going to grow really fast. So mark it on your web browser there, save it as a favourites, and enjoy the growth of our website and our outlets across the states. It's VasilisGarden.com from me, Vasili Maresi.